It's Wes. Thank you so much for being here. We are going to teach you how to play Armello. This is a board game adaptation of the very popular, very famous video game adaptation. We're going to take you through the basics of the game, and then later on, if you want to see it in more depth, we're going to do a playthrough. You can check that out here on YouTube. And this time, the playthrough video is going to be up before the how to play video, because we are playing this for a Kickstarter preview. So this game has been sent to us. All of these bits of content this week are sponsored. So thank you very much to the teams at Cool Silver and King of the Castle Games. My name is Tom. The people who are helping me, they're going to have their little hands all over all the pieces while I tell you the rules. We have a Lachlan.
Call the Pied Piper.
We have a Jimmy. Grrr. And a Bree.
I like to stab things with swords.
So, Armello, the aim of the game is to be the first person to 70 prestige points. If you do that, you instantly win. However, there is a second win option that unlocks when somebody gets to 30 prestige points, which is that you can go and fight the king. It is a very difficult battle. You're going to need to be prepared, and you're going to need to have done all the things that this game can do to get you ready for that fight. This is a game of exploration, combat, and just lots of little things going on. So let's talk about the ways that you can get points. The main way that you're going to get points is through completing quests. And quests have changed a little bit from the video game. So if we have a look at the first quest that Lachlan has here, a quest has a terrain type and a location area that you need to go to. You get 2 quests at the start of the game, and you choose to keep one. And every time you get a new quest, when you complete a quest, you will get 2 new quests and choose to keep one. And there are 2 different kinds of quests that are going to show you different areas to go to. So this one will show you that you need to go to either the west or the east, and when you get that kind of quest, you pick the furthest away area. So if I am here in the southwest, I would pick east because it is further away from me than west. The terrain type in the middle shows you what terrain type you need to visit. So I will take my little bunny marker and say I'm going to the east. Everybody knows I am going to the east, but they don't know what kind of terrain I need to visit. I need to visit a stone circle. And if I end my turn in that area, I can complete the quest and get its rewards. And the rewards are that you will get to draw some cards from certain kinds of decks. In this case, the rewards deck.
Yep. So in here, we've got draw 2, keep 1. So you draw 2 cards from the rewards deck. There are other rewards to this one where you can draw them from your experience deck or your advanced deck of the player deck. You also get to trash a card, and you always get 2 health or 2 health tokens to replenish your health. The other rewards you get as you slide along, you've got the 10 prestige, which is what the quest is worth, and you'll also get an increased bonus to your character's stats. We'll go through character stats later, but it slides onto your board, and then you can count that towards your overall stats. And this one would give you an extra spirit.
The other way that you are going to get prestige points is by fighting people. And you can fight players, you can fight guards, and you can fight Banes, and all of them will give you prestige points for starting an attack. If you deal damage to other players, you will get prestige points equal to how much damage you deal. And then if you defeat the opponent, you will get points. And if you slay the opponent, take them down to 0 health, you will get extra prestige. So by doing a combination of those 2 things, you are going to get to the 70 prestige that you need to win this game. But Bree, you might ask, how do you actually do these things?
How do I fight people?
So this game is played in a series of rounds through 2 phases. You have the Dawn phase. At the start of the Dawn phase, which is the first round of the game, and you don't do these actions at the first round of the game, but at every subsequent game, the first player token will pass to the left. You will draw a King's Declaration, which will have a global effect on the board that everyone will have to deal with. The person who is in last place gets to choose any effects that need to be chosen.
Yeah.
You will activate a King's Guard by rolling the area dice, and any guards in that area will activate. And then everybody will gain 4 gold plus a gold equal to how many settlements they control, which is different from the video game because in this case you will always get 4 gold because you will always need to buy new cards. And then once the day phase, the dawn phase has all been done and everyone's taken their day actions, we'll move into the dusk phase. And in the dusk phase, you will reveal a spirit stone on the board by once again rolling that lovely area dice. If there is not one already on the board, there can only ever be 1 spirit stone on the board. And this is a fun extra way to get prestige points points, because the first spirit stone you collect, just by moving on to the stone circle that it is in, you will get 0 points. But the second one will give you 7 points, the next one will give you 8 points, and the final one will give you 15 points, and 30 points in this game can be quite a lot. You will then activate any Banes by once again rolling the area dice, and everybody gains gains magic equal to their spirit. Unlike the video game, you don't have a cap on magic, it is just another resource to use. That is the phases, but on your actual turn, you will get to do a couple of things. You always have 3 movement in this game, and moving into any space will cost you 1 movement, except for into a mountain, and every terrain type has a special little bonus going on with it, apart from basic plains. Mountain special little bonus is that they cost 2 movement to move into. As you move around, you'll activate those special little bonuses, like moving into a settlement to claim it for your own and get that gold. Moving into a swamp will lose you 1 health. If you move out of a forest into combat with something, you will get to roll an extra dice. And finally, if you move into a dungeon, you will get to roll 2 of the white dice and get some bonuses based on what you get. So there is a table that will show you, hey, based on what you rolled, you will get some extra resources. If you roll rot, however, which is a symbol of the corruption and evil that is in this land, a Bane will spawn and you will fight. So the more dice you roll, the more chance you have of something bad happening. Your choice then to roll either a single dice or 2 dice, depending on how much you want to risk. And as you move around, you are going to need to care about your different attributes. Most people have a lot of the same attributes, but as the game progresses, you will unlock more, as Lachlan said, from quests. So you'll always start with 6 body. Body is how much health you have. It is your maximum cap on health. As you take damage, you will lose these health markers. And if you ever have 0 health, you will die. You will discard any quests that you have. You will discard your entire hand. You will take a death marker, and then you will take a wound that will clog up your deck, and you will lose prestige equal to how many death markers you currently have. So the more times you die in the game, the further you exert yourself, the harder the game is going to get for you. Your other stats are spirit. This is how much magic you're going to earn at the start of a night phase. Fight, this is how much dice you are going to roll in a fight. And then wits, this is how many cards you will draw at the start of each round to help you play the game. So by manipulating and using these different attributes, you will do more in the game. You can also do a little bit more in the game, because at the start of every single turn, whether it is day or night, you will roll these black dice. Everybody starts with 2 dice, and each side of the dice gives you a different bonus. A shield will let you draw an extra card. A wild will let you draw. A wild will let you move an extra space, and you can manipulate these dice and use them in different ways as you go along. You also get the option to use action cards that you have in your hand. Now, as I said, you will draw up to your wits at the start of every single turn, and at the end of your turn, you have the option to discard cards, so you're always cycling through your deck. This is a deck building game. So action cards will let you do things like have an extra movement, or gain some extra money, or as you go, at the end of your turn, you will start buying better cards that will let you do better and better things. The other kind of cards that you need to know about is combat cards. Combat cards you play at the start of combat when you enter combat with something or someone. And combat cards you can play 2 of at the start of each combat, and you will get to then usually get some extra dice to roll in combat. Lachlan, why do we care about dice in combat?
Well, dice in combat is how you fight your opponent. So when you roll your different dice, everyone's got a different amount of strength. So in their fight, for example, I've got 3 fight, but if we had manipulators through the combat dice, you roll your dice, you see what you've rolled. Rots are a miss. The night symbol is a hit on nighttime and a miss on the day. So if you rolled a sun, you would hit on the daytime. So you've got to be wary of which time of day it is for when you're rolling. And then you've also got shields to say that you've got a defense, and that goes into your defense area to block someone's sword or attack. and then the opposite, which is an attack, which is you attacking the other person. You'll then compare the two. The only one that is different is the wild, and the wild explodes. So it counts as an attack, so you take a little attack symbol and put it onto your attack board so you can keep track of how many attacks you have. Because the wild can keep exploding. If you roll a wild and then it comes as another wild, you get another attack. And it keeps going until you roll a miss or roll an attack or any other symbol that isn't the wild, and that dice is then spent. You then compare your attack against your opponent's defense, and you work out who did more damage, how much health you have, to compare wounds, damage, who the victor is, if they got slain, and all.
If it's not clear, the difference between the amount of shields you have and the amount of hits the opponent does is how much health you take. So if you roll more shields than they roll hits, you don't take any damage. If they roll 4 hits and you only have 3 shields, you will be taking 1 damage. The other way that you will use the black dice that you roll at the start of the turn is with these action and combat cards. Down the bottom of them, you will see a black dice symbol. You can spend that black dice to get an extra bonus. In this case, a hit symbol can be used to have a guarantee hit if you're playing against an NPC opponent, which is the kind of opponent you will only play with if you're playing with less than 4 people. I believe it might only be if you're playing with 2 people.
Yeah, I think if you're playing with 2 people. You can play with them if you're playing with 3, if you wanted to have an extra person running around. They have their own separate rules and other decks, because this game also has a solo playthrough, which is when you would play with NPCs as well.
Once you have done all your actions, moved around the board, you will move to your end step. And in your end step, the game recommends that you do your end step or let someone else starts their turn. We won't be doing that today because we like to be clear with everything that's moving. But this is your opportunity to buy new cards. There are 2 kinds of cards. There are magic cards that have a mix of green and yellow symbols, and they can be bought with both magic and money, any combination you wish of both, and they will usually have an extra cost when you play them to let them be instant action cards. These don't count towards the 2 cards that you play during your turn. In this case, if you spend 3 magic, this becomes an instant action card. Worth noting that this is a beta version of the game. Some of those costs and some of the rules may change. So have a look at the rulebook when it gets released on Kickstarter. And then money cards are bought just with money, the value that is in that top corner. But you can get a discount on any card that you buy once per turn by trashing a card from your hand that is worth less than the card you are buying. Usually the cards that you start with are worth 0, so you will trash them to get rid of the bad cards and get better cards. You will get a single gold discount on any card you are purchasing.
That's trash, not discount.
That is trash. That will go to this trash pile down the bottom next to the market. Or if you were trying to keep this game somewhat organized, you can just put your personal cards off to the side. There are a few bonus kind of cards that you will pick up as you go through quest rewards. You have
Reward
cards.
And these have a pink opal or moon crescent thing in them to distinguish between market cards and reward cards.
And you have experience cards, and these have the orange, more sun symbol in the top. Different quests will reward you cards from this deck. When you draw these cards, unlike purchasing cards from the market cards go to your discard pile. Whenever you need to draw from the deck and you can't, you shuffle up your discard pile and get yourself a new set of cards equal to your wits. These cards get drawn straight to your hand. A quest will usually say draw 2 or draw 3 and keep 1. So you'll discard the other one to its own separate discard pile and keep that other one fresh in your hand. At the end of your turn, as I said, if you were in your quest location, you can reveal to everyone that you are. You will complete that quest. The other thing that you might be able to do, and you can only do one of these, either your quest or this reward, is gain reward tokens from slaying and defeating people in combat. Reward tokens look like these lovely little orange things up here.
Yep.
And if you ever have 2 reward tokens at the end of your turn, you can get yourself one of your experience cards for free without having to complete a quest. The only thing to take note of is that during the game, if you were to fight Banes and Guards, they flip out a card and you will see at random what kind of fight symbols they're going to have. If these get activated in turns, you also flip out a card and see the effects that it is going to have. There is a bounty system. If you slay a guard because you want its points, the king will put a bounty on your head and other people will get bonuses for defeating you. And to finally defeat the king, you will need to deal with some perils. Randomly throughout the game, peril cards will come out, or peril tokens will come out on the board. If you are ever on the same space as a peril token, you flip out peril cards until you flip out one that matches the terrain type you are in. You then need to spend black dice to match those symbols that it says. And if you can't, you will take the negative. And if you ever want to defeat the king, you first have to flip out a castle peril. And if you cannot defeat the castle peril, you will usually get yeeted out of the castle. And if you do then stay in the castle, you will have to fight the king. And as we said, he has a lot more health. Banes and guards have 7 health, Banes and guards have 3 health, while the king has 7 health, and he has a lot more symbols going on when you fight him.
You also have
so
to
close. Yeah,
you also have to fight the king the whole way through. Unlike a normal combat where it's one round of combat, the king is until you defeat the king.
Or are defeated yourself.
Exactly.
And then the health resets.
Yeah, the king is hard. It is very difficult. You are not fighting him the second you get to 30 points. You are probably fighting him to stop someone else who is getting close to that 70-point mark. Because as we said, that is an instant win. We are now going to play through this. So if you are more of a visual learner or you want to see it in action, you can check out that video here on YouTube, or you can dive ahead and check out our review video where we talk about all our thoughts on this game, keeping in mind that this is a beta version of the game and things may change. Thank you so much for watching. We have been Nerds of the West, and we will catch you next time.